My name is Richard. I'm discerning with the Order of Friars Minor, also known as the Franciscans. This is my story. I had a really good upbringing in the Methodist Church. I was always involved in it, and as a teenager especially, I got really involved in the youth group and had a really meaningful faith. As I got a little older, as I got to be around 16, 17, I had some questions about what I had been taught, and I was increasingly unsatisfied with what I knew about the world, what I knew about God. And by the time I left high school, by the time I was leaving to go to college, I didn't really consider myself to be religious in any particular way. A few years later, after a period of time of kind of just being a little confused, not really knowing where to go or what to do, I eventually found myself in Ecuador. I was in South America, and I was going for a walk in the evening in downtown Quito, and I walked by I believe it's the oldest church in Ecuador. The doors were wide open and light was coming out, and there was mass going on. And I don't know what it was, something in me. I walked in and sat down. That isn't something I would normally have done. And I didn't convert all at once that night, but when I sat down in there, something shifted in me. And when I look at the course of my life, a new direction really emerged in that moment. And that next year, God just began to reveal himself to me. I started to be aware of God's presence. This faith was emerging in me, and I came to realize that I was being called to become a Catholic. And I moved to Austin, Texas. I went to grad school. I was kind of moving on in my plans with that. I ended up getting involved in a wonderful parish there. And while I was in grad school, around the time I was getting confirmed, I just kind of hit a wall with my studies, with my plans, and I realized I was being called somewhere else. I wasn't sure quite what it was at the time, but I knew I needed to get out of school. I knew I needed to stop what I was doing right away and ask some questions. And I began discerning with some other communities. Eventually, I realized that it was the Franciscan spirituality that really spoke to me the most. Something about looking for God in the messy everyday, among people and places that are often forgotten, both in church and in the broader society. That's where we're called to go as Christians, and the Franciscans really emphasize that. There's space in that spirituality to embrace the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and say, you know what, God is found in all of this, and Jesus entered into all of that, and we can do that too. The Franciscan life can take me any number of places, and that's one of the real beautiful things about it. I could be serving the homeless, I could be serving immigrants, I could be saying Mass, or I could just be working as a brother. And I don't know quite where God is calling me in all of that, but I know God is calling me to serve him, to walk with him, and trust him to take the next step.